owner, and he tells him, "I will throw you to the dungeon, to the pit, to the wild animals that I have." And he says, "What do you want from me? It's my servant. He's not working properly. He's not showing up to work. Throw him." So the king takes and throws him. For some reason they like this. The kings, they used to have a big garden, and inside this garden they had a place where they would have big walls all around, right? All kind of wild animals inside, tigers and lions and bears that were kept very hungry. And whenever he wants to punish somebody, they throw you over there. So the keepers of the place, they know already. Once the menace comes in, he screams, he's afraid, and then the animals eat him up, and then he's quiet. So they throw. Rabbi Chaim Ben Atta asked, "I want to go with my tefillin and my talit and my books, holy books." They tell him, "Fine, sure, why not? Go with this, who cares?" He comes with this. They want to hear this screaming, from fear, they don't hear it. They want to hear how the animals are gobbling him up or how they eat him. They don't hear anything. So they wait, they say, "Okay, maybe they're not hungry, the animals. We'll wait a couple of hours, we'll see what happens." 2 hours passes, 3 hours passes, a day passes, nothing. 3 days passes like that. Then they come to see what exactly happening over there. As they come in, they see the rabbi with his talit, with his tefillin, learning from his holy books, and all the animals sit around him, looking at him admiringly, like they're afraid of this holy man. They were shocked. How could what exactly happens over here? Because Jewish people that are holy, that are keeping the Torah, usually animals are afraid of them. And that's what happened with Rabbi Chaim Ben Atta. Here in this play, Hashem shows them that He controls not only the water, the sea, but also the animals. He tells them what to do, and they do something that is not in their nature. Usually animals like to hide from men, from human beings. Here they come out of their forests and wherever they hide to the people, grab them, tear them to pieces, do whatever they want with them. Next comes Dever. Dever is pestilence. Dever comes and eat all the animals, all the Egyptians' animals. The horses, which symbolizes power and strength, okay? The donkeys and their camels, which usually carries all their belongings, all whatever they have, and the sheep and cattle, which it's their business, most of their business. Here Hashem is controlling over the life of the animals, and they see that all the cattle, all the sheep, all the things of the Egyptians die, and the Jewish people not. How is this possible? Whenever there's a plague, there's a plague. Pestilence, God forbid, it's a very strong disease with the animals. Rabbi Nachum Michanover was a big Rebbe. He lived about 200 years ago. And he would go from place to place to see what Jewish people need, to help them, to comfort them, to help them spiritually. He comes once to one city in Podolia, and he asks the rabbi over there, "Anything here that I could help with?" He says, "Rabbi, we don't have a mikveh over here." So what's the problem? Arrange some money and build a mikveh. Yeah, but we don't have the money, and we don't have anybody that can give us, that contribute us this money. Nobody? You don't have any rich people in your town? Yeah, so they tell him, "We have one rich person, but he's not going to give anything. He is so greedy, he won't give anything." The rabbi tells him, "Let me take care of this." So he hires he rents this very, very expensive looking couch, and he's going next to the house of this rich person. The rich person looks over the window and he sees a very expensive couch out there. Who is traveling in this kind of a couch? He comes out and everybody tells him, this is Rabbanit Yehoshua, you know, he's a very distinguished rabbi, he's very important. You can ask your wishes, he's giving the brachot, he's giving his gulot, he's giving this. But he never invites people home. He never brings people over. He looks at the rabbi, and the rabbi is, you know, a lot of people wanted to invite me, but I decided I want to come to you. Sure, Rabbi, of course, if you want to come to me, of course. So he gives the rabbi a room, and he hosts him. A lot of people want to come in, but he doesn't let them come in, because the rabbi, he needs privacy. He doesn't want all these people to come in. Then the rabbi calls him, and he wants to talk to him. As he comes into the room of the rabbi is learning and learning and learning, and he doesn't want to disturb him. So he starts thinking to himself, he says, all the important people of the town are just waiting to come inside and to talk to this rabbi. They look at him, they admire him, they give him so much honor. I have a lot of money, but I don't have honor. I don't have kavod. They don't respect me. How come this man has so much honor from people and I don't? Probably because he's very spiritual and I don't. So he starts thinking and he says, probably what kind of olam haba he's going to have, big inheritance and olam haba, and I don't have anything of this. What should I do? He starts thinking. Then it becomes late, so it's time for mincha, and the rabbi tells him, call the people who want to pray a little bit. So he calls some people inside, and they start praying mincha. This rich person never prayed with so much kavanah in his life. He prays, and all of a sudden, you know, every person has this Jewish spark that lights in him at a certain moment. He made a mitzvah that he hosts the rabbi. All of a sudden, his neshama is awakened. He starts praying, he starts thinking of what he says. He comes to the point that it says, Melech ohev tzedakah u'mishpat. God loves tzedakah, charity, when people give charity, and mishpat, justice. I'm not this kind of person. Hashem loves tzedakah, but I don't give tzedakah. What should I do? When he starts thinking, he starts repenting on his bad behavior. All this time that he has money and he never shares it with people. So he's thinking and thinking, Baruch Hashem, the prayer finished, and then Rav Nahum Chernobyl is calling him and they start talking. They're discussing an issue. Nobody knows what they were talking about. The next day, though, the rabbi leaves the town, and everybody sees that this rich man is looking for people. He wants to hire people to build a mikveh. What? You are going to build us a mikveh? Yes, I promised to the rabbi, he tells everybody, that I will build a mikveh. Not only a mikveh, also the everyday expense. You know, mikveh is not only one time you give money for the tires and for the mikveh is also electric bills, insurance, whatever. So why did you do that? I mean, what exactly changed that you're willing to get out of your whatever you used to and start paying and start giving? What exactly changed? He tells him, I made a deal with the rabbi. The rabbi signed that if I'll go ahead and build a mikveh and take care of all the expenses, okay, so he sells me all his olam haba. What? The rabbi signed on this kind of a thing? Yes. He's so happy, you know. The rabbi signed this kind of thing for him. You can imagine, Rabbanit Yehoshua, he had a big portion in olam haba. It's not us small people. So later on, people are asking Rabbanit Yehoshua, how come? What did you do exactly? Why did you give up all your love for this? So he tells them, it says, ואהבת את השם אלוקיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. מאודיך with all your heart, with all the money that you have. But I don't have money. So what could I be so proud of that I worship Hashem with all my money? I don't have money. I have nothing to offer. So I made a deal with this rich man that I'll sell him all my olam haba. This is my most precious thing. And if I'm able to give him all, whatever I did in my life to him, it means that I worship Hashem with all my heart, with simcha, with ahava, with love. That's what's called ואהבת את השם אלוקיך בכל לבבך. So sometimes when we break our midot, this rich man, he broke his midot. He was not used to help out, to give people money, charity, hosting people. He was not used to give charities, contributions, donations. Was not used to this thing. All of a sudden, he takes upon himself not $5 tzedakah, build a mikvah, which is thousands and thousands of dollars, right? Breaks his midot, and also in a way, the rabbi decides that he breaks his midah. This is what Hashem is doing with the Egyptians, breaking them slowly, breaking their pride, slowly, until they understand who is Hashem. Next, we have a plague that's called boils, shchin. What is shchin? Shchin means all kind of wounds that are so painful. Okay, that comes on the body. Health issues, sickness of people, everything is in the hand of Hashem. And as I told you, sometimes Hashem gives this punishment because that's the only thing that awakens people. There was a couple in Israel that was living with each other and didn't get along.
What? I'm sorry.
Didn't get along.
Oh.
She realized that he's not a helping husband. He doesn't care about things in the house. She has to run after errands. She has to raise the children. She has to take them to the bus stop, to bring them back, to cook dinner, to cook this, to make laundry, to make shopping, to pay the bills, to pay the rent. She does everything basically. And he's not there. He goes to work and then he comes back and he goes to sleep. Basically, what exactly she sees from him. And he, he's a man. He wants respect. He doesn't get it. He's upset at her. And they keep fighting. This rabbi is trying to help. The rabbi is trying to help. Nothing helps. They're both stubborn and they don't care. They decided that they want a divorce. Okay? Fighting like crazy. Okay. He, before doing this drastic thing, he decides that he wants and he goes and buys a ticket to the United States. He has some business over there anyway. He's going to go there for 2-3 weeks. He's going to come home. He doesn't want to make it too much, especially next to the kids. He doesn't want to leave them with hard feelings. So he's going to go a little bit away, and once he comes back home, they will file for divorce and they will go for it. As he preparing his packing, he feels dizzy, he doesn't feel well, he gets sick, he has temperature. He goes to the doctor, they made some blood tests, they found to know that he has hepatitis.
What is it?
Hepatitis.
Oh.
He's so sick, he's so tired, he's so weak. He just lays down at home and doesn't do nothing. And she, his wife, has to take care of him. So she's there, she's changing his pillows, his this, whatever is needed. She feeds him. He cannot eat himself, he's so weak. She feeds him, she does things to him, and meanwhile, he's home. So he sees what she's doing, and he sees that she's doing a lot. He never realized how much she works in the house. She gets up early in the morning. I don't have to tell you what woman is doing. She gets up early in the morning. She prepares breakfast. She, you know, this one has this clothing. This is fighting with his shoelace. This is his choco spill. This one needs to sign on something. This one is missing this. This one. So she takes care of the whole morning until they all leave to schools. Okay. They leave to school right away. She starts. She puts soup on the gas. She cleans this. She says she goes. She makes laundry. She sees that she's constantly busy. She goes. She buys. She comes back. She's multitasking. Right? Does constantly. And then she stops everything. She feeds him slowly, with a lot of patience. She feels sorry for him. He's not feeling well. Okay, they're not. They don't. They don't agree with each other, but she doesn't hate him, so she cares of him and everything. And then the kid starts, and all the balagan starts again. Homework, this, that, until she puts them, she showers them, until the whole house is quiet again. And this is when the guy usually comes from work, the house is already clean, everything is nice, the dishes are washed, supper is waiting, and he's like, what did you do all day long? Why you keep complaining? He all of a sudden looks at his wife in a different angle. And he rethinks, should I really divorce her? Wow. Okay, slowly he recovers. And he wants to take this trip anyway, you know, just to clear his mind a little bit. But then his wife falls. Then she got hepatitis. She becomes weak. She cannot do anything. Now he has to be multitasking, right? He has to do all the things that she usually does. Getting up in the morning, prepare this shoko, prepare this, doing all. He cannot do whatever she does. Okay, the laundry is staying there, of course, and the shopping at least. But he tries at least the shoelace and the signing and the taking to the bus stop. Things that he has to do, he has to do. And she sees how he tries, how he feeds her slowly, how he cares for her, how this, how that. She got up from bed, and none of them went to file, to the Rabbanut to file for divorce. All of a sudden, they look at life differently. All of a sudden, he understood her, he appreciated her, he cared for her. She, I guess, understanding, they started talking. It wasn't just that. They started talking, they started communicating, and he tells her, listen, you're kol hakavod, I appreciate you. She gets a little bit, you know, she feels good. They started talking. Sometimes Hashem gives us something, God forbid, in our body, so that we wake up a little bit. One rabbi said in Israel, the easiest people that he can deal with when he wants to make chazara b'tshuva, when he wants them to think about Judaism, is when they get a little bit some hits. Whether it's a rich man that got poor, you know, the stocks, because the business, layoff or whatever, or somebody that became sick, all of a sudden, whatever you do, just save my life. I'll do anything for you. I'll keep Shabbat. I'll say Tehillim. You know, I'll put tefillin. I'll put kisui rosh, something. These are the easiest people to work with. Why? Because their pride breaks a little bit, shakens a little bit, and this is when you can talk to them. Okay, next thing is barad. Barad is hail. Never until that time, Egypt had hail. Never. They have the Nile, as we said, so the Nile gives them the humidity that they need. And that's about it. All of a sudden, Hashem changes the nature of the climate in Egypt, and the conditions change. All of a sudden, there is hail. Where from? And what kind of a hail? This hail, we know, came with fire, came with it's ice and fire and water and rain, all of them in one shot. And they see that fire, for this purpose, to listen to Hashem, to make the will of Hashem, fire makes peace with ice, so that the Egyptians will get this heat, this makkah. The damages that the hail did was more than all the other makot, because over here, the man and the cattle that were in the fields died. Whoever wanted to rush those cattle to their home couldn't do it, because the hail, it's not just a little bit on the floor, it's not the dusting hail, it piled up, you know. They couldn't move, they were stuck, and all the trees and the seeds got broken, and the fire that came with the hail burned all the roots. So basically everything. Okay? The hail, again, something with pride. I want to tell you something that happened. It's written in our Nevi'im. Maybe you heard this before. There was a time in the Jewish history. There is Malchut Bet David. Okay, whoever came from David, and there are the kings from Israel. One of the kings of David was a person by the name Yoash. There was a bad woman by the name Atalia. She wanted her son, and only her son or herself, to be the king. So she killed all the ancestors of David HaMelech. Nobody left, except this one little boy, baby. They wanted to save this baby. They didn't know where exactly to hide him. So they hide him in the Holy Temple, in the Kodesh HaKodashim, where the Kohen goes only there once a year. They hide him. There's between there's some place, like an attic of empty thing, that they hide the baby over there. In the Holy of Holies, the Kohen goes there and takes care of the baby. He sleeps there, he eats over there. This king, in the beginning, was a very, very good king. He listened to the rabbis, he listened to the Kohen. Kohen was Yehoyada Kohen at that time. And the Kohen tells him how to worship Hashem in the right way, how to kill all the idols, how to make. He made the Veda Kabayit, he renovated the temple again. He did a lot of things for the temple. But at a certain time, he changed. People come and tell him, you know, to the Holy Temple, nobody is allowed to enter. In the Holy of Holiest, only the Kohen Gadol goes there once a year. You were sleeping there, you were eating over there, you were raised over there. You become an angel yourself. So they put it into him, and put it into him, and put it into him. And he feels it. He starts getting, you know, like, I'm an important person, I'm an angel, I become God. And so all of a sudden, he started to do bad things. He stopped listening to the rabbis, he stopped listening to the Kohen Gadol. This Kohen Gadol, as we said before, saved him from Atalia. This Kohen Gadol killed Atalia, so that this little boy, he was 7 when he became king. 7 years old. And now, after so many years, you know, when somebody does good to you, what is supposed to do to you, benefactor? To the one that helps you? Appreciate, gratitude, you know? Some people that have bad qualities, they don't. They feel that they owe him something, and because of his bad qualities, he feels upset. Why should I owe you? You know, like, and instead of doing good, they do bad. There is a time that he doesn't listen to the king, to the Kohen. Yehoyada passed away. The son of Yehoyada becomes Zechariah, and because he doesn't listen, Zechariah comes and tells him, you have to be careful, you have to be careful, it's not good what you do. On Yom Kippur, in front of everybody, he just kills him. The son of your benefactor? The son of the one that saved you, that guided you, that told you what to do, that made you a very great, great king. He ruled 4 years over Israel. This is something that happens to arrogant people. And when such a thing happens, Hashem needs to take care of them. It says later on that his slaves, his people, themselves killed him. That's what happened to Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar thought that he's the king of the world. What happened to him? His sons killed him. That's what happened to Titus. Titus was the one that destroyed the second temple. Nebuchadnezzar was the first, then Titus was the second temple. He thought, oh, I'm the king of the world. I was able to conquer the temple. You know what happened to him? Small little creature, Yatush, mosquito, comes into him, gets into his brain, makes him crazy until he dies from that. That's what happens when people are too arrogant. Hitler. The Nazis believed that they are superior than anybody else. What is the Aryans that their race was different than all the others, and whoever didn't fit their criteria, they're supposed to kill him. The Gypsies, the Jewish, whoever is a stranger, you know, they just kill them. Stalin was nothing special, right? But then, because he wasn't something special, he was the son of a shoemaker or something like that, he became superior, and whoever was next to him, you know, he was afraid that they will take his throne, and he was just killing here and there. He killed more than 1 million people just himself, for no reason. Arbe. Arbe is the locusts. With this winged insect that comes, makes the whole sky dark from the amount of the arbe that comes towards Egypt. And again, here Hashem shows that He is controlling the winds, because we know that the wind brought the arbe. So basically Hashem shows the Egyptians that He's controlling the water, the animals, the wind, the sand, the land, everything. And this is to break again their spirit. Napoleon, he was a short man. It always bothered him that he was a short man. On the other side, he was an emperor.
Napoleon?
Yeah. He was controlling another country and another country and another country and another country. And the fact that he was short a bit bothered him. So he tries to show that he's superior, that he's somebody special. One time though, when he had a battle against the Russians, it was a very tough battle. You know, Russia is a big land, it's always cold there, it's always freezing there, and his soldiers were stuck over there because it's cold. They cannot fight when it's too cold. So he was almost in a despair situation. He doesn't know what to do. He goes there, he disguises himself as a simple man, and he goes to one of the bars with his helper. He goes to one of the bars over there to hear what the Russians say, you know, like a spy, to see what's happening. So they come to the bar, and they hear the Russians are talking. You know, when they drink, they don't even pay attention to what they say. So one is saying, yeah, it's so hard, and another say, we don't have enough ammunition, and that one says, oh, this, and they see that it's very, very hard. And then one of the soldiers, the Russian soldiers, looked at Napoleon, and he thought that he recognized him. Not everybody knew how Napoleon looks like. He thought, he looks at him in a sharp, say, and he thought that it's him. Napoleon realizes that, and he's afraid of what's going to happen. His helper also saw it. So his helper took things into his hand. He says, hey you, my helper, go and bring me wine, another goblet. And he's like, sure, sure. He goes and he brings him. And as he comes closer, he spilled a little bit some of the wine, you know, on his helper. And this helper is like, what? He started kicking him. He started slapping him. Who do you think you are? Blah, blah, blah. He started screaming at him. And that Russian, that these people are looking, and he thought that he's Napoleon, and Napoleon would never let anybody to humiliate him or to scream at him. He said, probably I am mistaken, and this is how they left the bar, safe and sound. Nothing happened to him. How come? If Napoleon wouldn't hold himself, if he was going to start screaming back, you know, at his helper, like, how do you dare? You know who am I? How can you? That would be the end of him, right? So he worked on his arrogance, he worked on his midah, and was able to save himself. How important it is to work on our qualities. Choshech. Choshech is darkness. This makah of Choshech was very important. It was very interesting. All the other makot, you know, Dan, Tzvadea, Kinim, all these makot, people, the Egyptians, are among themselves. Meaning, they could share it with the people. They can complain together. Oh, I'm so thirsty. Oh, these frogs are driving me nuts. Or the lice, I can't stand it. Or this. They have somebody to turn to. They can complain to each other. They can share pain and suffering. Choshech, they cannot move. There was a whole week, right? So this was a whole week. So the first few days, it was just darkness. The last 3 days, they couldn't move. They cannot move, meaning they cannot eat for 3 days. They are hungry for 3 days, cannot eat. They cannot move, they cannot talk. They cannot share their pains. They are all alone. Nobody else there. They're alone. And this is, I read this story about what does it sometimes mean of being alone. And this, there's a mohel in Israel that's called, his name is Aram Silam. One day he has a few britot to do in Netanya. So he goes from place to place, from place to place. The last brit is supposed to be at 7 o'clock and sunset is 7:30, let's say. So, and after sunset, we cannot wait with Pilah, right? So, the one before the last one that was supposed to be at around 5 o'clock, it got late and late and late from all kinds of reasons. And when he leaves this brit, now he's rushing to the last milah that he has to do. It should be before sunset. He goes to his car, and the car has problems. He has a flat tire, he cannot move, he doesn't know what to do with himself. People are waiting over there, and he has to rush because it's late. He doesn't know what to do. They're trying this way, they're trying that way, they're trying to stop another car. Nothing works out. He doesn't know. So then he takes the thing into his hand and he stops one of the cars over there and he tells him, please, I need you to take me to a brit. I'm in a hurry, I have to make a brit somewhere. I have to. This person that was driving in the car was not religious Jew. And he's like, what do you want from me? Look, I'm a stranger to you. Well, he says, please, we need to get into, before sunset, I have to make a brit. Can you please take me? So, okay, fine. So he takes him to another 10-15 minutes drive. They go there, they get there just before sunset. People are upset already, people are complaining already. He doesn't care about anything, he just makes the brit. And then he listens to all the people complain, why did you come late? That's not fair, that's not okay. Fine. He leaves the brit and he wants to thank the man and to take a cab towards his car that's waiting there in the middle of the road. And this man was still waiting for him. The non-religious, I should say, driver. And he's like, come, let me bless you. You know, you helped me to come to this brit. You know, if God forbid, if we delay a brit, it's a very not good thing. You know, brit needs to be done on the 8th day before sunset. You had the merit to help me in this moment. I bless you with whatever you want, he tells him. I'm the mohel, I can bless you. So he tells him, Rabbi, I need these blessings. I'm married to my wife for such a long time, and we're lonely. We don't have children. Please, can you, I need this blessing. I want you to bless me so that I'll have kids. And he's like, sure, sure. And he blessed him, and he took him to his car, and he helped him out with his tire, and whatever. And he went home. Exactly a year later, this man calls him, and he invites him to the brit of his son. Sure, he comes happily. He comes, and he doesn't recognize the man. He has a kippah. He looks much more religious. He has zakan. He has that. What happened? He tells him, you know, I was kind of in the darkness, and I didn't realize what is religion, what is Judaism, what is Torah, and you know, the media in Israel, they talk so much against religions. People don't want to come closer. They think it's something terrible. I started to open books. I started to ask people. I started to ask rabbis. I realized that I live in darkness. I just don't know anything. So I started becoming more observing, slowly. It's a process. It takes time, of course. And then my wife gets pregnant, and I'm so happy, and I don't know what to do with myself, right? And I keep becoming more observing, and here it is. Now I called you for the brit of my son. He was so happy, Rav Avraham Silam. And basically, the mitzvah that this mohel did, the way that he was rushing, the way he cared about the mitzvah, moved something in him, because he was not, it was all strange to him. He didn't know what mitzvah is, what the importance of doing it on time is, and all. This person in this second just told him this. Was very interesting, opened his eyes. The last makkah is bechorot.